M0FXB, welcome back to the channel. As we know, the Yaesu FTX-1 and FTX Optima have been announced. Now, there's been a couple of podcasts, lots of YouTube videos, and one thing that I have picked up is that the front end of this radio is a superhet stroke SDR hybrid design. Very similar, if not identical, to the Yaesu FTDX10. And we'll look at what the pamphlets say in a sec. But this actually was a surprise to me because I thought they would use the Yaesu FT710 design, which is a complete SDR radio. So if we look on the left, we've got the FTDX10. And straight away, when you go to the top there, just scroll down, find where they talk. And they use the word hybrid. Now, they don't use the word hybrid when they talk about the FTX, the new model, but it says here hybrid SDR, narrowband SDR, and direct sampling. Okay, so they specifically use the word hybrid. And if you go down to the sort of conversion, it says here receiver block diagram, it shows, and obviously there's two antennas on the 2 meters 77, 6 meter HF model, which is the FTX. So on the DX10, you've got antenna. Then it says band pass filter, RF amp, and then you've got the mixer stage, and it goes into the audio digital to FPGA and then DSP and then out through the speaker. So that's very clear here. Now, if we look at the FTX design here, it's obviously the work involved in designing and making this work with all the filters so that there's no problems. It's just fantastic, but you can see how, well, you know, I didn't design this set, but look at this. I mean, they've even got the 2 meters and 70 coming from the same place where the HF 50 megahertz antenna is. Look at that. Explain it to me, please, if you're a whiz on this. But ultimately, you've got your analog digital converter, FPGA, okay, for the main, and then you've got the sub there as well. And DSP main and a digital amp then out through the speaker. So please check out these pamphlets. I'll put them, you know, in the description. The way that the radio will operate is nearly identical to the DX10 and really the 710. It is, yeah. And even my FTDX101 that I use. And to be honest with you, people have asked me many times, what would you recommend? If someone said to you, what would you recommend? I nearly always say, if we're talking Yaesu, I nearly also say, well, I would go for the DX10. Yeah. I like the fact that it's a hybrid, very solid device, decodes CW. Now, I don't think the FTX1 decodes CW, maybe. I mean, it's using the same architecture, but, you know, I know they like to keep things working on one radio, like the DX10 decodes CW, but then they don't want that on the 710 or different. They're trying to make sure we've got different reasons to buy these radios. But you can see there on the right hand side, that's our FTX1, as you can see, and how they've crammed that in. It's just amazing. And yes, people keep asking me, is there a tuner if you buy the back end, the SPA1? Yes, 100% there's a tuner and a speaker, and it clips on. Now, a lot of people are asking about separation cables. You know, could we just separate the back end, if you see there? And well, it's not advertised that there's a kit for that, but I'm sure they will make a kit, or someone will make a kit, so that if you still want your front end on your dashboard and you still want to do 100 watts, you can put the back end somewhere. I mean, it seems common sense to do that. And I'm surprised they haven't told us we can do that already. But it does clip to the back. And I'm sure that at the moment, it needs to be a tight fit to work, whatever connectors are there. I think that'll come. But remember, you can buy separate GPS models, separate Bluetooth modules as well. There's two types of tuners. There's two 10-watt tuners that are being sold. One is more of a tabletop one. The other one is one that clips onto the back where the battery goes. And I can see why they've done that. If you still want quite a portable unit, and then you can sort of plug in your external tuner, you know, I get it. It's good that they've actually done that. And then they've come up with this thing, when there's when there's no when there's a battery on and we're doing FT8, the things, yeah, the unit's going to get hot. Oh, and they've invented this clip-on fan that clips onto the back, which I think is pretty cool, haven't they? So otherwise, you know, 3D display which you can stack or have it side by side, VHF, UHF at the same time as HF, and you can have it A and B but not HF. You can only receive HF once. And here's all the, you know, here's all the extras here. Let me see if I can show you them. So you've got these clip-on handles here. Then you've got the battery. Okay, the battery there. Battery. So then you've got the first antenna, which the main difference is that the first antenna automatic tuner, this one clips on. It's clip when it's on, yeah? You've got that fan that we talked about. And that to me looks like it clips on the back of the radio. Is it back of the it's an interesting. So let me read it. When operating with an external power supply. Right, I get it. So do you not even connect your battery? Yeah, does this clip over the battery? And you use an external power supply, you clip the fan on, that'll make it a very thin unit, wouldn't it? Okay, and then the FC90, which I do like this sort of way of doing it, where you just got this nice sleek looking design, put it on the table, connect the cable, and you've got this other compact tuner. So I do like that. Even the GPS antenna looks, you know, just here. Yeah, not too expensive. The new BU6 Bluetooth, yeah, clips inside. And then you've got your normal SSM BT20 Bluetooth earpiece. You know, not many HF sets have Bluetooth. That's true. Yeah, not many. Then you've got the old FT40, so carry handle, which I'm being told is part of the SPA1 amp, which again, I'll keep saying it. It does have a tuner. It does have a speaker. So you've got to weigh this up. If you buy just the FTX-1 on its own, it's £1,600 in the UK with a battery. If you buy the tuner, it's just roughly £300. Yeah, so that's 1,900. Then you'd have to buy the the SPA1 separate. Then you're talking 2,000, you know, 400, 2,500, and then that it does include a tuner. So it's definitely cheaper if you try and buy the whole lot now. But yeah, it's a hit to the wallet. And the FTDX10, I think you'd get one for less, but you do not get 2 meters and 70, and that's the key thing here. You don't get 2 meters 70 in Bluetooth. You don't get APRS, because this is going to do APRS. You don't get C4 FM. You don't get PDN mode. There's a lot that you don't get. I remember when I bought my ICOM 705 when it first came out. It took me, honestly, it took me 6 months to get used to the fact that I had paid such a large amount of money for such a small device. Because I was used to buying it, you know, if I spent £1,500, for example, I was used to getting this nice big radio, like a Yaesu the ICOM 756 type radio, you know, TS2000. I got one over there. And so to suddenly pay 2,000 quid for this tiny little thing, as packed as it was with features, it took me a while to get used to it, to be honest. I don't know if I ever got used to it. Now we've got things like the micro PA50 amplifier and tuners now that you can get quite low price now, and 100 watt amplifiers that you can clip into it. You can get a lot out of it, and of course, you know, with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all that kind of stuff, GPS on it is good. So there is an adjustment. You know, many hams watching this and thinking about getting it are thinking, I don't want to pay 2,000 quid for this little tiny little thing. I get it. I completely get it. It is an adjustment. But then there's many hams that did that, went for the 705 and did it. You know, if someone said, well, I want to have this small experience with an ATU and HF and everything all in one, well, I would say go for the X6100 or with the X6200, the YAESU. I would say you got that little module on top, which is only £45, gives you complete receive across VHF and the UHF bands as well. All right, you can't transmit, but then you just grab your handheld. Once you've got your repeater set, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a, you know, so this is the options. But, you know, the main reason for this video is that they have got, this is a hybrid radio. I'm not a professional expert on this, but you know, the FTX-1 is a hybrid super SDR, analog to digital conversion radio, and that is, for me, is a winner. It's a winner. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe. Stay healthy. Think about what you're eating. Let's live for another 20, 30 years, and play radio 7-3.